everyone, my name's Arnel. Today we are going to look at all of these prepositions of movement. Movement means something is moving. These prepositions are really common, so it's important you know how to use them. A lot of you know I love giving tests. So at the end of this lesson, I have a test for you with 17 questions. Can you please let me know your score in the comments below? Did you get 17 correct out of 17? Or maybe just 7 correct out of 17? That's okay too. I love seeing that people have taken my test, so definitely let me know your score in the comments. I live here and I need to get to work. The problem is my car broke down. Break down is a phrasal verb which means your car stops working. There's a problem. Cars break down. So I can't drive to work, I need to walk to work. I need to walk from my house to work. From, to. That's a common combination. From the start to the end. I need to walk from my house to work. Whales. Whales migrate from Alaska to Hawaii. From Alaska, the start, to Hawaii, the end. The bus drove the students from school to the museum. From the school, the start, to the museum, the end. So this combination from to is really common with movement, but also time. I teach from 10 to 2 every day. From 10, start, to 2, the end. Okay, here is my house. First, I need to walk away from my house and toward the bus stop. Away from, toward. Away from, leaving the location. Toward, moving in this direction. What do I mean? Let's do some more examples. Now, I am moving toward the camera. Now I'm moving away from the camera. My right hand is moving toward my left hand. My right hand is moving away from my left hand. So in this example, you can see I'm walking away from my house and toward the bus stop. Here's a common question. What's the difference between to, toward, and towards? Well, to plus destination. That's your endpoint. Toward is the direction you move in. Towards with the S is the exact same thing, but that's more common in British English. Toward without the S is more common in American English. But to be honest, I've heard Americans using it with the S. I've heard British people using it without the S. So they're the same thing, but this is just a guideline. Heather is driving to the hospital. The hospital is her destination. Maybe she's visiting a friend there. Heather is driving to the hospital, but first she has to drive toward the park and then take a right. So the park isn't her destination. She's not going to the park, but that's the direction of her movement. Is the bus stop my destination? Nope. I walk past the bus stop and along a very pretty street. Past. Let's take a look. I walked past a bakery. I walked past a bookstore. I walked past a flower shop. David rode past me on his bicycle. You can see past means you move from one side to the other of something. Think about your drive to work or school. Think of 3 buildings or things that you drive past. We know past is a preposition. The verb pass can be used to mean the same thing. Pass is a regular verb. Pass, passed, passed. Yep, past and past are pronounced the same. But remember that one is a verb. I walked past a bakery. Preposition plus object. I passed a bakery. Verb plus object. We use along when we travel next to something long. The word long is in along. Long, along. Long, along. My family drove along the coast. Coasts are long, right? The kids ran along the beach. Kim and Tim held hands as they walked along the river. A snake slithered along the house. So you might be thinking, well, houses aren't long. Houses don't need to be long, but it is kind of a straight, flat surface. Okay, so I walked past the bus stop and along a pretty street. Eventually, I need to walk through a pedestrian tunnel. A pedestrian tunnel. A tunnel is a tunnel, and a pedestrian is a person who walks. Someone who's not in a car or on a bicycle. Pedestrians are walkers. Through, you travel in the middle. He is trying to squeeze through the doors. Let's drive through town, in the middle. So a lot of times with through, we think an open space. But not always. We really do just mean from one end to the other. Like light. Light shines through a window. Light shines through a window. There's an adjective, see-through. See-through means transparent. Plastic bottles are see-through. Oh, her shirt is see-through. Okay, we know through is travel in the middle. Let's have another tunnel. And I have a train. It goes into one end and out of the other end. Into, out of, those are opposites. Into, go in. Out of, exit. Out of. A lot of times when people are speaking quickly, they say, outta. Outta. If you want to learn more about those lazy contractions that native speakers use, I do have a lesson on 20 tips to understand fast English. You'll learn things like out of is outta. You know, going to is gonna. Lots of tips like that. I'll link this video down below for you if you're interested. So we have into and out of. We also have onto and off. Those are again opposites. Onto, on the top of something. Off, drop, down. You know what? To explain this, I'm going to use cats because cats are good at prepositions. The cat jumped into the box. The cat jumped out of the basket. The cat jumped out of the basket. The cat jumped onto the table. The cat jumped off the couch. Here's a little note. Many times people say off of, and this is used in casual, informal conversations. For example, he bungee jumped. He bungee jumped off of the bridge. A book fell off of my shelf. So of isn't necessary, but sometimes you might hear it. Whew. My walk to work is really long. Why did my car break down? Okay, eventually I get to a stream. A stream is a little river, a narrow river. I jump over the stream and walk across a bridge. Over, from A to B in an up and down movement. Across, A to B in a side to side movement. The children climbed over the fence, up and down. I stepped over the hole. I walked across the street, side to side. Mary swam across the English Channel. Wow. Little tip. This here is a crosswalk. A crosswalk. Pedestrians walk across crosswalks. Pedestrians walk across crosswalks. So hopefully this can help you remember a crosswalk. We know across means from A to B, but a lot of times across and through can be used interchangeably because through is travel in the middle, across is A to B. They're very similar. On our road trip, we drove across 3 states. On our road trip, we drove through 3 states. Same thing. And a road trip is a long trip in a car, a vacation. You go from here to there to there, a very long trip. Okay, today's lesson is prepositions of movement. I want to compare something I said in this lesson to something I said in my other lesson, prepositions of place. Let's take a look. I put a dream catcher over my bed. Okay, here I'm using over. In this example, there is no movement. This is just the location of the dream catcher. I just wanted to clarify that some prepositions can have multiple functions, but in the context of the situation, it'll be clear. What's the opposite of over? Under. A river runs under a bridge. The dog dug a hole and crawled under the fence. I don't like walking under scaffolding. Scaffolding is the poles and wood planks people put up to fix a house. My walk continues. I have to walk up and down a hill. I have to walk up and down another hill. Up and down. I think those 2 prepositions are pretty self-explanatory. Self-explanatory is an adjective, which means something explains itself. It doesn't need an explanation. My kids love riding up and down escalators. Escalators. A couple of friends pushed a snowball up a hill and watched it roll down the hill. Let's keep going. A tree has fallen onto my path. A tree has fallen onto my path. Remember, onto means on top of something? I can't go over it, it's too big. I can't go under it. I have to go around the tree. Around. You move on the outside of something. I have to walk around the tree. I walked around the puddle so my feet wouldn't get wet. So around can be like this, from here to there, but around can also be a complete circle. Both are fine. I run around the track a couple of times whenever I exercise. You can drive around this island in half a day. Well, this is the end of the lesson. I'm still not at work. In fact, I'm lost. Test time. Can you please choose the correct preposition for each sentence? There is only one possible answer per sentence. Pause the video to do this. Okay, if you've enjoyed this lesson and really want the notes to this lesson, you can join my English Nerd membership and download the notes in PDF format. I'll leave the join link down below for you if you want to check it out. Here are the answers. How did you do? Please leave me your score in the comments below. You can even give me a couple of example sentences. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.